Hello, everyone, and welcome to our launch podcast. A small note before we begin: some of the review board members were not able to make it, but we hope to see them next time. The Black Hat community has gathered in Las Vegas, London, and Singapore for decades. This 27th of October, it comes to Bangalore, and it marks the first time Black Hat brings its briefings experience to South Asia. To walk us through what that means for the region, for the global security community, and for the researchers who've been waiting for this, I'm joined by the Black Hat India Briefings Review Board. These are the people who will read every submission, debate every talk, and ultimately decide what lands on stage in Black Hat Bangalore. Their job is to ensure that what you see at Black Hat India meets the same standard as any Black Hat anywhere in the world. Let's go around the table. If each of you could please introduce yourselves, your background, and maybe one word that describes what you're hoping this event brings to India's security community, that would be a great place to start. I would give it up to Anant.
Hi everyone, Anant Shrivastava. I have about 18 years of technical experience. I started as a server admin, did a bit of development work, and for past about 15 years, I'm purely focused on information security domain. I run a startup called Siphonoid Research, where our focus is on cutting edge research, including topics like supply chain security or AI. And to describe it in one word, what Black Hat community can bring to India is more exciting research. It's not one word, but more exciting research.
Perfect. Vandana, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Vandana, and I'm currently working for Sneak. Have around 19 years of experience in cybersecurity. I'm on the review board for Black Hat Asia, Europe, and US, and now I'm glad to join Black Hat India. Thank you.
We're glad to
And
have you.
thank you.
Yes, and one word that would describe us.
I'm sure it'll be deep technical.
Perfect. Sudhanshu, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Sudhanshu Chauhan. I started as a pen tester long back, more than a decade in offensive security. Currently, I'm co-founder of Redundant Labs, where we take care of attack surface management. My core areas of interest is web application security, recon, open source intelligence, and now, of course, AI, right? Been associated with Black Hat in many shapes and forms, as a trainer, as review board for different regions, as Arsenal presenter, and happy to be here to support the Indian ecosystem and see what Black Hat can bring in for the Indian region. In one word, I would say community. That is what I'm looking for. So Indian InfoSec community, that is what I'm expecting from Black Hat India.
Fantastic. Shubham, would you like to go next?
Hey folks, I'm Shubham Mittal. I'm co-founder of Redundant Labs. I started my security journey around 15 years back, primarily as a pen tester, but then moved to both sides of firewall. I run Recon Village at DEF CON with Sudhanshu, and for the free time, I run Indian Hackers Club, where we talk about hacking beyond terminals. In order to tell you what Black Hat to India means for me, I would say the hacker in me says cool hacks. I'm very much looking forward to that. And the party animal in me says a lot of networking, a lot of new connections.
Perfect. We are all hoping to do a lot of networking at Black Hat India. So, thank you all. Let's start with the obvious question first. Why India? Why now? The security talent here is world class. The threat landscape is uniquely complex. So, what are we bringing to India on October 27th?
All right. So when we talk about information security community, there have been a couple of events which are called flagship events. There has been DEF CON, there has been Black Hat. There are some conferences in India that are making their name. It has always been, I think, researchers' dream to present at such conferences. I keep a tab on people who are presenting at different conferences, and I see that it is considered a prestige point to present at such renowned conferences. Black Hat has always been something which was happening far away from India, either in Singapore or in London, Amsterdam, USA. So for a portion of the InfoSec community, it was not reachable. Now, when we bring Black Hat to India, we bring that reach to the community. And that's what is going to change now. And that's what I'm more excited about.
Thank you, Anant. Next question for Vandana. If there was one big security trend or pressure you would pick, what would it be?
I think the trend right now is AI. So that's somebody that everybody, not just me, not just one person, everybody is talking about. That's something that I'll pick today because we when we talk about AI, it's applicable to IT, it's applicable to healthcare, finance, and you talk, name it, and it's there. So AI would be the one for sure.
All right. In your observations, what value do platforms like Black Hat Briefings bring to the global cybersecurity community? And what has your experience and your contribution been in this endeavor? Sudhanshu, I would like to give up this question to you.
Sure. So Black Hat has brought in cutting edge research in front of people, right? People have been researching for years and then submitting, going through a whole detailed process of review and then presenting at a larger section of group. So people get to learn what others are doing. Secondly, I would say connecting, setting up a community, setting up a network where they can meet people and then meet them next year and show them what they did last year, right? So community, cutting edge research, that is what I would say is what Black Hat brings to every region they are and now to India as well. How I have been contributing, I have started as an Arsenal presenter. Then the next year I gave a training at Black Hat. And then next year I was doing another training at Black Hat. And after a few years, I also part of the Black Hat Review Board for Asia, Review Board for Black Hat ME and others. So that's my contribution. And I want to contribute to India section as well. So let's see how it goes, hoping for the best. But yeah, I think it will be a great journey starting this month, this year.
Thank you, Sudhanshu. Shubham, the next question is for you. What are the absolute non-negotiables for a proposal to make it onto the Black Hat India stage?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to answer in that, honestly. When we look at a paper, there are many things that are, looked upon. First thing is, of course, it should be novel. It should not be, available easily in the market. Second, it should be responsible and ethical in nature. We don't want to highlight a talk at Black Hat stage which talks about a CV in a product which has not been fixed. So we want to do it responsibly. Third, many times, I think this is one big feedback all the reviewers would like to give is while you submit your paper and you give a good abstract in details, many times it is short of it. So try to put as much information as you can so that somebody who is new to the topic understands it and is able to judge it nicely. So a lot of things in that, but I would say detailing, novelty, and ethicalness of the submission is very important for me.
Right. So when you ask about what I'm looking for in the submissions, first and foremost, I'm looking for what's the newness that is brought to the table. If there is something that has already been done hundreds of times, I don't want to give stage for that. I want to give stage for things that are new, things that are novel. So that's the primary factor when we are looking at any of the talks. Second, and this is something that you got to understand from both perspectives, when a researcher is writing the proposal, they're giving out details to the reviewers. All the reviewers are clearly under a non-disclosure agreement. So anything that you share with us, do not go outside of this circle. So you can rest assured if you're sharing some details, they're remaining within the circle and they're not used for anything other than reviewing that particular paper. Second aspect around this is because if you don't share all the details with us, we won't be able to give good feedback around your proposal. Second part, it does not means that, let's say, if a talk is not selected, that does not mean that the research is not high quality. You can always seek feedback about where we got stuck on that. But we generally end up receiving about, say, 10-1 or maybe 20-1 ratio for the number of submissions versus number of slots available. So that's something that is definitely going to happen. But the more important part is if you don't submit, you've already not cleared it. So it's better to submit something and iteratively work on it. But if you're looking to make your submission one of the outliers or one of the top submissions, one, what Shubham already mentioned, the ethicalness of it, the completeness of it, that matters. Two, what is it that the audience is going to get out of this? If the audience is looking at your presentation for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, what are they going to take away from that presentation? It should not be a brag only that, hey, I did this,
Sure.
I achieved this and done. It should be some learning for the people. The whole purpose of the conference is to impart knowledge. So what is
Yes.
the knowledge that you're bringing in? You have to talk about that.
Perfect. Vandana, would you like to jump in?
Sure. For me, I would say we need to have a proper story. When you're submitting an abstract, you're submitting an outline, it should not be just 2 or 3 lines. Make sure you have, or you share why should the audience care about the topic that you are submitting. Because if they don't care about, they will never come to your talk. So uh, make sure you mention about why this research you started. The whole story needs to be there. And especially when we talk about abstract, it's just 2 or 3 paragraphs, so it has to concise in that. Same thing goes with outline. That outline has to be proper. It should not say that, oh, I'll do this, and that's about it, like just 5 or 6 points and done. Outline means you share a detailed outline so that people understand that, oh, this is something which is coming, and it has a very clear story behind it. That why did this person started investigating, or why did they actually found, and clear takeaways. That's
Yes.
something which is missing in a lot of talks. So this is my
Got it.
opinion.
Perfect. Sudhanshu.
Sure. So, as every review board member said, novelty is one of the most important factors. It should be new. Secondly, I would say impact, how impactful it is. How can someone actually consume and utilize it, right? If I come to a talk, I can see it, I find it fancy, but I'm not going to do anything about it, not learn anything about it, or not utilize it in my workflow, then it's not so impactful for me as a person, right? And thirdly, I would say proof, right? When you're submitting something, you can have a very detailed abstract. Today, people
Right.
use AI, and of course, they can to write detailed abstract. But where is the
Sure.
proof, right? If you are leaving it up to the reviewers to find that proof, then you have failed it up to some extent, right? So give us best information available. And as Anant already mentioned, there is an NDA. We don't release it, we don't share it outside the channel, outside the group. So share whatever is possible so that we don't have to search for the proof of the impact, right? Rather than provided that proof so that it's easy for us to make that decision. So that is what I would suggest to the submitters.
Okay.
There's there's one more thing which I would like to add to that is one that many times it's pretty obvious that you would submit a talk with on which you are working, and many times your talk will be very much, connected to a solution that your company is selling. And a lot of times we get talks which are very adjacent you know, to the solutions the companies are selling. So we think we are very skeptical about it, and we are very picky about it to make sure we don't pick a non-vendor neutral talk. It has to be vendor neutral. So I think for a submitter, it might make more sense to clarify in the submission that, hey, this is what I have done, this is what my company sells, and how I'm going to not make it a sales pitch on the stage. And honestly, we can't really 100% fine, accurately pick it up, but more confidence we get, it's easier for us to say, okay, this looks trustworthy.
One more caveat that I would add. A lot of people are going to use AI to refine their submissions. It's not wrong.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
good. It is okay. It makes it readable. It makes it proper. But
Right.
believe me when I say this, anyone who's doing review sees AI related, AI written submissions so much that we can smell it from a very long distance. We
Right.
understand that the AI is in use. If AI's use is for augmentation, it's all good. We appreciate that. But if it feels like there's a one-line statement which has been expanded to 5 paragraphs, we also
Yes.
understand that and we get it. And that actually goes against the whole submission. So ensure that when you're using AI, you are leveraging AI to enhance your proposal, not actually asking AI to write your proposals.
Great. So thank you, everyone. I think these are some very important points that you've given all the submitters to think about. Let's move on to the next question. So India produces some of the world's most prolific security researchers. And like Anant, you have mentioned, many of them have had to travel to Vegas or Singapore to get on a black hat stage. So, what does it mean to bring that stage home, Anant?
All right. So, like I said earlier, Black Hat is a very big brand in information security space. For researchers, it's one of the dream places to be in to stand on a Black Hat stage and deliver a talk. When it's available within India, it's available within Grasp for the researchers to be able to present, and as well as for people to directly get access to those researchers. In a conference, there is a conference that is happening, which is there is a set of talks that are being presented and you're listening to those talks, but there is an unconference that happens within every conference, and that unconference is when that speaker is not on stage, is walking around, and you start having a discussion with them, or you
Right.
find a set of people and have that discussion with them. So having a place which allows us to bring that sort of talent at one place, that's one important thing. Allow the conversation to happen on these technical topics, which is where all the features that are there within the conference, they enable people to start having that conversation. The community areas that we build during the conference, those sort of things encourage the interaction. I think that's what is going to be the major factor with bringing Black Hat to India.
Got it. Thanks for that, Anant. So, Vandana, I would like to direct the next question to you. So, Black Hat has a reputation for not pulling punches. Talks that name vendors, expose systematic failures, present live exploits. How do you balance that with responsible disclosure?
To responsible disclosure, the most important section is that you have submitted the research to the vendor and vendor has fixed that research.
Yes,
So
got it.
when that CVE is fixed, please make sure that you point it out that yes, this has been submitted, this has been fixed, this has been communicated to the vendor, because
Correct.
there are at times when vendor is not very comfortable in sharing that on the stage. We have had that at multiple stages in Asia, Europe, and USA as well,
Right.
where the researcher said that I told this to the vendor that yeah, I'm going to be presenting this research because it's fixed, this vulnerability is fixed, and now I want to present. They said that we are not comfortable. So this researcher specifically called it out and said that I'm going to be talking about the methodology. I'm not going to be talking about the vendor, but more
Sure.
about what my research was all about. I hope that this answers your question.
Yes, this answers the
I
question perfectly.
I would add to that. So this is a topic, because of the nature of the topic around disclosures, it gets personal to a lot of us, and you will find conflicting opinions about this topic. Now,
Right.
there are two, three different aspects around this. First and foremost, all what we are doing in information security is for the end user. We are trying to do all the good things for the end user. So having a not fixed bug in public is not good for the end user. So that's why it is our endeavor that we try to encourage responsible disclosure. Now, there are going to be scenarios that there has been scenarios where a vendor is non-responsive, or the vendor is not approachable at all, or the vendor is situated in a country which does not have any sort of relationship with your country, or you cannot actually do a responsible disclosure. If such a
Right.
scenario does occur, Black Hat tries to help and facilitate that coordination. So, however, there can be scenarios where a disclosure has been done and the customer, or rather the vendor, has been non-responsive for a very long time.
Makes sense.
At
Yeah.
that point, depending on what is the severity of that bug, because we
Got it.
also have to understand we are now sitting at an age where there is AI systems in place which are finding bugs. There are attackers which are constantly finding bugs. So as much as we would like to not talk about a bug which is not fixed, if the vendor is not intending to fix the bug at all, they're not
Yes.
interested in actually making a progress, we may end up making a decision call to include that submission in our program for the sole purpose of making everyone aware that there is a problem in this product, in this scenario. Because for us, it's not the vendor that matters the most. For us, what matters is the end user who's using those software.
Exactly. Makes sense. Wow, that is a very complete and answer from both perspectives, from all the sides. Okay, let's move on to the next question. And the next question is about the current gaps. So, what areas of security research are underrepresented or underdeveloped in India right now? Sudhanshu, I would like you to take up this question.
Right. So underdeveloped, I would say hardware, IoT, OT systems, right? IT has
Right.
a lot of research going on. AI enables it a lot nowadays. But OT is something which has its own limitations, right? Access to
Okay.
hardware, understanding of the firmware, how to extract them, and real playgrounds, right? For example, if I have to test a WordPress vulnerability, I can set up a lab immediately on my laptop itself. I don't even need a server. But if I have to
Sure.
find a vulnerability in IT or hardware, it is going to be costly, right? So it will be
Makes
more than a
sense.
hobby, it's an investment then. So I think that is a certain area which there are a couple of good researchers in India, which I personally know, but that is an area which needs more research, more access, and more facilitation. So I think that is what Black Hat India maybe can help provide.
Perfect. Shubham, I would like to ask you the next question. So, without giving too much away, which tracks are you most excited to see submissions in?
Well, I'll be a little biased here,
Okay.
specific to the areas I really work on. So
Sure.
network, cloud, mobile, AppSec is the traditional one. I would like to see uh, more around maybe something which a lot of people don't talk about in security conferences, but a lot happens in the fraud area where a
Right.
very simple fintech vulnerability can be exploited for doing massive frauds. We are just calling it one IDOR, but deep down it can cause $1 million, financial,
Right.
risks to the company. So maybe more about fraud. And my all-time favorite is internet scanning. So yeah, those are the areas I would like to have large-scale researches around, how things are shaping up with AI or without AI, how fraudsters are doing very cool attacks, and how defenders can catch them, things like that.
Sure. And Shubham, critical infrastructure, financial systems, power grids, telecom is a massive target in this region. And given the scale of UPI payments and smartphone penetration in India, how does that tie in to our tracks? And do you anticipate that these being represented significantly in our tracks?
100%. That's the kind of area I was trying to point with fraud. It might not directly reflect in the security vulnerability, but UPI being a very integrated part of payments infrastructure in India, and a lot of startups which are revolutionizing payments and e-commerce. I think those will ultimately reflect, maybe not directly calling out the industry, but
Sure.
security researchers from these companies will do hopefully submit good interesting talks and how they are tackling some of the biggest challenges at the biggest scales.
Okay, Anand. So the next question is for you. AI is reshaping both attack and defense. Are you expecting that to dominate submissions? And how do you evaluate AI focused research rigorously?
Uh, Interesting. So I would give you my opinion, and then I would ask Sudhanshu and Shubham to also pitch in, or
Perfect.
rather, all three of them to pitch in. Everyone has been doing AI work. So AI definitely is going to end up dominating, because what people don't realize is AI is not a vertical on its own. It's a
Right.
horizontal section which basically works across all streams. So right now, you may have some research which is AI focused, which is talking about LLM poisoning or LLM related attacks or ML related attacks or
Right.
defenses against LLM or AI models in that sense. But there is also going to be a large number of submissions, or I'm hoping there would be large number of submissions
Sure.
which are around the implementation aspect of AI. So
Got
using
it.
AI to do XYZ job, or using AI to augment or enhance the capabilities within the InfoSec world. We've been seeing this trend, I think, for past 2 years that has been a dominant set of submissions, and both sides of submissions where there is a submission which actually has a lot of meat in it, and there are submissions which are as vague as I queried my LLM model, and my LLM model confirmed that I can own the entire universe, and here is the abstract of how to conquer the whole world.
Right.
So the whole AI related I don't have the right word for it, but AI psychosis that is happening around in the world, that's also something that I see appearing in paper, and that's fine. I mean, everyone has their own way of approaching things, but I
Sure.
see AI to be a dominant set. Although I would like to see non-AI stuff more, supply chain, hardware, IoT, CPS. There's a whole bunch of things. We've not yet had someone who's like a pontoon champion from India. I would like to see more of those kind of things because, yeah, AI is interesting, but it is right now interesting, and there's so much that is sitting below AI, which is also very important.
Sure. Sudhanshu, would you like to expand on that?
Let's see. When you say AI and security in the same sentence, right, it can mean two things. One is security using AI, the other is security of AI itself,
Of
right?
AI. Right.
So there are two different aspects that we are expecting
Exactly.
to come in. Most people will use AI to find vulnerabilities, to exploit 0 days, to maybe defense. That is very good area. But with more and more usage of AI, there's also a concern about the security of the AI itself. And people are running agents, they are creating their own fine-tuned LLMs and whatnot. But
Right.
there is very least observability in terms of what are they doing, what are these agents have access to, what are the permission models that they have been granted, what are the guardrails they have been put up to, right? So that is one interesting area I am looking forward to because that is something of concern. And the second aspect I would like to be more interested in is what will be relevant 3 months from now because the timelines have shrinked substantially. Earlier, it
Right.
was what will be relevant maybe a year down the line, but that has shrunk substantially. And even if it's not an AI related topic, even if it's AppSec or hardware, as Anant mentioned, or IoT, maybe everybody will use AI to accelerate their research, maybe on defense, on the offense side. So that
Right.
aspect will also be interesting. AppSec using AI, or maybe DevSecOps using AI.
Sure. Vandana, would you like to go
Yeah,
next?
sure. So now again, when we talk about AI and security, I would love to see more of supply chain security with AI. I've been hearing about AI bill of materials. I've been hearing a lot of AI being added to supply chain security, but we also see a lot of attacks which are happening. So more of shadow AI. I think that's not very much talked about. I would love to see that. And I'll give you a reason why. So OWASP came up with LLM top 10, agentic AI top 10, or MCP top 10, and suddenly people started calling out that, oh, shadow AI is not something which is going to be big now. But I
Right.
feel that we should get more research paper around what they are seeing around shadow AI, the proper research, facts, findings, and I think Shubham will also like when everything is being scanned on the internet and people finding it in the right way.
Always, that's always. But definitely shadow AI is AI exposure, all those things are important. Would love to see more. But as Anand said, uh, I would also like to see a lot of how people are using AI to do things, cool things in the tracks that I just mentioned earlier, like AppSec. How are you using AI in a very cool way, in a very novel way to do something in AppSec? And don't tell us how you are doing threat modeling using AI. I mean, it's there. We know it can be done. What are the new angle? What is the new angle that you brought to that? If you're finding CVs using AI, how are you finding it for $3 and not $500? So those are the things, practical research, practically being able to do those things is something I would love to know, love to see.
Right. And people are
So
finding out how expensive AI can actually be. Like they had such huge dreams and they fired some of their employees and now they've implemented AI and now it's racking up their bills. Their wallets are becoming much lighter.
yeah,
Yep.
there's just one thing I would like to add to all of this. Uh, as reviewers, one of our job is to get dazzled and amused by the submissions. We're not know it all and be it all kind of people. We
Right.
also at times have to research and understand what is going on. And those are the best kind of submissions.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
submission where I have to sit down and say, hey, what happened? What
How
is
is this
it
even
that they
possible?
have done?
Yeah.
That is where we are most excited. And that's what I'm hoping, that the Indian community dazzles us with submissions which are beyond what we could ever imagine.
Wow, that's a great note to end this. Okay, so we've spent the last 10-15 minutes talking about research, about the community, about what it takes to put the right work on the right stage. But I want to end with something simple. There is a researcher somewhere in India right now, maybe in Bangalore, maybe in Hyderabad, maybe in a tier 2 city that nobody in this industry has heard of yet, who is sitting on work that the global security community needs to see. They've never submitted to a conference like this. They're not sure their work is good enough, or important enough, or ready enough. This show is for that person. Submit your work. The call for papers is open. The board you just heard from will read it. And if it's as good as you think it might be, you'll be on stage in Bangalore on October 27th. To the board, thank you for the time, for the candor, and for helping build something that this community has needed for a long time. To everyone listening, we'll see you in Bangalore. Black Hat India, October 27th through 30th. This is where it starts. Thank you.